It's been reported that country music superstar Naomi Judd left out her daughters Winona and Ashley Judd from her will. Now, why she did this is speculation at this point, but I'd like to share with you a historical perspective on why people sometimes leave out children from their wills. This can have a big impact on your genealogy research. A will is a document that a person draws up that directs how they want their assets to be distributed after they die. In the United States, there's no requirement that you have to include all of your children in your will. You don't have to include any of your children in your will if you don't want to. This trips up a lot of genealogists because oftentimes they'll look at a will hoping that that will prove who the parents of one of their ancestors are. If that will doesn't name that ancestor, well, then they make the conclusion that the person who left that will must not be the parent. And that might or might not be the case. But why would a parent leave out one of their children from a will? Our minds tend to go with something dramatic. Oh, there must have been some falling out, and that's why he didn't include this son in the will. That did sometimes happen, but in my experience, it's not the most common reason. A person might exclude one of their children from the will because they had already given that child money or property, perhaps when they became of age or when they got married. In essence, that child had already received their inheritance. Another reason that a child might not be listed in a will, especially if it's a large family, that will might have been written before the child was born. Always pay attention to when a will was written. If that will was written in 1850, but your ancestor wasn't born until 1855, well, it's kind of hard to be named in a will if you haven't been born yet. You'll definitely want to pay attention to the other papers in that probate case to see if your ancestor is listed. Before I go on, if you're getting value from this video, hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of my genealogy videos. Thanks. What about those times when someone would leave one of their children just $1? Was that done just out of spite? It could be, but it was also a way that the person leaving the will could try to avoid some legal action among any of the heirs. By leaving $1 or some other token amount, that heir couldn't come back and say, "Oh, well, this will isn't any good because they left me out of it." No, that heir was specifically mentioned and they got $1. They might not have received a full amount because they had already received their inheritance. Or there could have been a rift. Whether the person was completely omitted or they just received a token amount, you'll want to read all of the papers that are in that probate case. The will is just one document in the probate process. There are all kinds of documents that could be in that probate case, and those documents can have tons of clues to help you piece together that family and help you understand them better. You'll also want to take a look at things like land records. See if any land had been transferred between that person who left the will and that person who you think was actually just omitted. For U.S. research, both Ancestry and Family Search have outstanding probate collections. Family Search also has a great collection of land records, which you can find if you go through their catalog. Digging deeper into records will help you make more discoveries in your family history. In this video here, I share some suggestions on how you can improve your genealogy research, so go check that out. And go make some great discoveries in your family tree.